Hello, I'm John Silcox with the Fairfax County Health Department, and I'm here with Deanna Rodriguez, who's one of our environmental health specialists. And we've got a real treat for you today. We're going to take you behind the scenes to show you what it's like when Deanna does a food service establishment inspection. And today we're here at Yield Creations, which is the food vendor here at the Government Center building. And they're getting ready for lunch service. You can probably see behind us that there's some work going on. And we're getting ready to serve lunch. So we're here at a good time to kind of go through the process of what it's like when you do a food service establishment inspection. So thank you for joining us today. If you have comments or questions as we go along, please post them to Facebook. We're simulcasting today, so we're both on the county's Facebook and on the Health Department Facebook. So we hope you will like and share our video, post comments and questions, and we'll try to address them as we can. But without further ado, Deanna, do you want to take us through what it's like to do an inspection?
Yes, thank you, John. A little information first. Well, the Health Department inspects over 3,400 restaurants. Now, these restaurants vary from a nursing home to a coffee shop. Now, a nursing home may receive 3 inspections because they serve a highly susceptible population, whereas a coffee shop may only receive 1 inspection because they're not cooking any food. But the majority of our restaurants actually receive 2 inspections a year. Now, all of our inspections are unannounced, and a routine inspection could last up to 2 hours. Now, the common thread amongst our inspections is that we focus on risk factors for a foodborne illness. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, talking about 5 risk factors. Now, typically, when we do an inspection, we always identify the certified food manager, and that person is the one that will walk around with us as we conduct our inspection. So today I'll give you a shortened version of what a food safety inspection looks like. Now, I am here at the hand sink, and this brings us to our first risk factor, which is poor personal hygiene. So we always start our inspection by washing our hands, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing now. So as I wash my hands, I always check to make sure that the hand sink has paper towels, that they have soap, warm water, hand washing sign, and a trash receptacle. And we really want to scrub and wash our hands for about 20 seconds to help reduce that risk factor. Now, another component of that risk factor is glove use. We want to make sure that staff is using their gloves instead of using their bare hands to touch products that are ready to eat. Now, these products could be an item such as a sandwich. We need to make sure that they're always wearing gloves. And the third component of that is what we call an employee health policy. Now, this is a discussion that we have with the managers to make sure that they've trained their staff to know and recognize and report symptoms and illnesses that are part of the foodborne illness. So, to my right, I have a 3-compartment sink. And that brings me to my next risk factor, which is using contaminated equipment. Now, at home, we definitely don't have a 3-compartment sink, and we also may not sanitize our dishware, but a restaurant, they have to because they're serving the general public. So the way they properly do this is by having a wash, a rinse, and a sanitizer. So their wash consists of water and soap. Their rinse is water to remove that soapy film. And the 3rd compartment is the sanitizer, which is what we check. So here, they have a sanitizer test kit. It's a color-changing strip, and it lets us know about the concentration of the chemical. In this case, they're using quaternary ammonia, so we want to make sure that it's at the right concentration, because too low and it's not doing anything. Too much, and now they've created a chemical residue that could make somebody sick. So what we do is we dip the paper in the solution for 10 seconds, and it'll change colors, and we compare that color against the color chart. So we see here that they're doing pretty good. They're between the 200 and 400 parts per million range, which is exactly where we want them to be. So we've cleaned our hands. We now have clean equipment. Let's talk about food.
So Deanna, let me stop you just there and remind our audience, if you're just joining us, we are kind of behind the scenes at a food establishment inspection. Deanna's taken us through the different things that she does and the things that she looks for when she's doing this inspection. So we hope you're learning a lot, and if you have comments or questions, as always, post them to our Facebook page. We're simulcasting today on the county Facebook as well as the Health Department Facebook. So please like and share our video. And Deanna, why don't you take us to the next place, next location for your inspection.
So our next risk factor is improper temperature control. So we're going to make our way to the walk-in cooler. And as we know, in a restaurant, food goes through many processes. They need to receive the food at a certain temperature. They need to keep it cold at a certain temperature. They need to cool down food and keep that time-temperature relationship. So we walk into this refrigerator and we want to make sure that the ambient temperature is 41 degrees below. So come on in. And we see that every refrigeration unit has to have a thermometer, and they do. And like I said, the magic number here is 41 degrees. However, more importantly is making sure that the food inside the walk-in cooler is maintaining a temperature of 41 degrees. So here I have my thermometer. I've already taken the liberty to wash, rinse, and sanitize it. Well, I'll just go ahead and clean it up with an alcohol swab one more time before I take the temperature. So this is chicken salad, and we see that it's definitely maintaining the cold holding temperature at 38 degrees, which is perfect. So while we're in the walk-in cooler, we also look at several different ways that they store food. So we want to make sure that they're preventing cross-contamination. And another reason why we look is because we want to know what kind of food they have on hand, because that brings us to our next risk factor, unapproved food sources.
Deanna, let's stop there and just remind our audience that we're taking a behind-the-scenes look at a food establishment inspection. I'm John Silcox with the Health Department here with Deanna Rodriguez. She's showing us all the different things that she looks for when she does an inspection. And Deanna, I know that you spend almost every week doing this. How many inspections do you typically do?
Well, it varies. Typically, we try to get 3 done in a day. So between 10 and 15 is what we strive for to do in a week.
Okay, well, why don't you continue on with the tour and show us the other things that you look for.
Absolutely. So as I was saying, we need to know where this food is coming from, and we need to make sure that the food comes from a reputable source, such as an establishment that's permitted by the USDA or the FDA. Now, there are certain items that require further documentation, such as shelf stock, and we'll also review that as well. So as we walk through the kitchen, we always want to look at the cleanliness of the facility, which is also something that we're checking during our inspection. And now that we're here in the front, we see that Chef Cora is cooking. So that brings us to our last risk factor, which is proper cooking temperatures. Okay. Now we know it's important to cook food properly because we want to kill the bacteria that's in the food. Now every protein item has a certain food requirement. In this case, chicken needs to be cooked to 165 degrees in order to eliminate that dangerous bacteria. Now every restaurant needs to have a thermometer, and they need to use it. So we'll go ahead and take a temperature to make sure that this risk factor is indeed reduced. Hello, Chef Cora, how are you?
Okay, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm going to take a temperature of the chicken here.
Okay, no problem.
And we see that that's being reached because this item is fully cooked at 190 degrees and above. So let's say a restaurant would like to hold their food instead of immediately serving it. Well, that brings us to our next temperature requirement over here. This is what we call hot holding, when a food item is held after being cooked, and we want to make sure that it's also reducing that risk factor of improper temperature control by maintaining a temperature that's 135 degrees and above. So we'll go ahead and take a temperature of that. Very good, and we see that we see that the temperature is 160 degrees and rising. So at the end of our inspection, we talk about what our findings with the manager to review any information, and we also want to make sure that the violations are corrected on site. If they can't be corrected, then we'll schedule a follow-up to make sure that the restaurant is handling any of these risk factors the right way. So I hope today has been very helpful in giving you an insider track on what a food safety inspection will look like.
Anna, thank you so much for taking us on this behind-the-scenes tour of a food service establishment inspection. I think we all learned a lot about what goes into an inspection and how you conduct this work. We hope you found it to be interesting and informative. As always, we appreciate your attention, and we hope you'll like and share our video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them on our Facebook page. We're simulcasting today on both the county's Facebook and the health department Facebook, so either one. Please leave your comments and questions and share our video. Thank you so much for this time today, Deanna. We appreciate the information. And if you have other questions or want more information on our food safety and inspection program, you can go to our website, which is fairfaxcounty.gov/hd/food, where you can get more information. Also, can get links to restaurant inspection reports if you're interested in finding out how your favorite restaurant is faring in their latest inspection. So all that information on our website, or you can also call our program at any time if you have questions or want to find out more information. That number is 703-246-2444. So thanks again for joining us. Have a great rest of the day.